The big meeting room was very quiet. All the alien leaders sat in their chairs and waited. The lights were dim. Everyone could feel that something bad was about to happen. Admiral Jake Morrison stood next to Captain Lisa Warren. Both humans wore their dark blue uniforms. Jake was an old soldier with gray hair and many scars on his face. Lisa was younger, but her eyes were cold and hard like steel. A blue light started to glow in the center of the room. The light grew bigger and bigger. Then a scary alien face appeared in the light. It was Vexthul, the leader of the space pirates called the Crimson Void. Vexthul was not like humans. He had 4 yellow eyes and a mouth full of sharp teeth. His skin was dark red and covered with small spikes. When he spoke, his voice sounded like broken glass. "Humans of Earth," the alien said. His voice was full of hate. "We have your people. Your ship called New Horizon is now ours. 300 of your kind are our prisoners." Lisa felt her hands turn into fists. She wanted to punch something, but she stayed quiet and listened. "Your people were going home from the Kepler colony." Vexthul continued. "Doctors, teachers, families with children. They are all our prisoners now. If you want them to live, you must do what we say." The alien leaders in the room started to whisper to each other. Some looked scared. Others looked worried. This was how things always worked in space. When bad people took prisoners, everyone tried to make a deal. "You have 3 days," Vexthul said. "All humans must leave the outer rim. Take your ships, your stations, your colonies. Leave everything behind. If you do not obey, we will kill all 300 prisoners." The blue light flickered. The alien's 4 eyes looked directly at Jake and Lisa. "This is not a game, humans. We have killed thousands before. We will kill thousands more. You cannot stop us." Jake stepped forward. His old boots made a loud sound on the metal floor. "Permission to speak, Captain Warren." "Go ahead, Admiral," Lisa said. Jake looked right at the alien's ugly face. "Vexthul, you have made a big mistake. You have one chance to let our people go. Do it now, or you will be sorry." The alien started to laugh. It was a terrible sound. "You think you can scare me, old man? We have 10,000 ships in this part of space. You have maybe 50 ships. Your people will die, and then we will hunt down every human in the galaxy." "Wrong," Lisa said. Her voice was quiet, but everyone could hear the anger in it. "You have exactly 3 days. Not to think about our answer, to say goodbye to your friends. Because in 3 days, you will all be dead." The alien stopped laughing. "What did you say?" "You heard me," Lisa said. "We don't make deals with pirates. We don't give up our colonies. We don't run away when bullies threaten us. We kill bullies." Vexthul's 4 eyes got very wide. "You cannot be serious. No species in the galaxy would risk 300 lives for a few colonies. We're not like other species," Jake said. "When someone hurts our people, we don't negotiate. We don't compromise. We don't make deals. We destroy our enemies completely." The alien leaders in the room were shocked. They had never heard anyone talk to terrorists like this. Usually, everyone tried to find a peaceful solution. Everyone tried to save lives by giving the bad guys what they wanted. A tall alien with blue skin stood up. His name was Cleaton, and he spoke for the Zorathi people. "Humans, please think about this. 300 lives are at stake. Surely you can find a better way. The only way is to rescue our people and kill every pirate in that fleet," Lisa said. "But that's impossible," said another alien. This one looked like a walking crystal. "The Crimson Void has been terrorizing this part of space for 30 years. They are too strong. Even our combined fleets are afraid to fight them." Jake smiled, but it was not a happy smile. "That's the difference between you and us. You're afraid. We're not." The blue light started to flicker again. Vexthol looked confused and angry. "You will regret this, humans. When your people are dead, their blood will be on your hands." "No," Lisa said. "Their blood will be on your hands. And your blood will be on ours." The alien made a sound like a growling dog. "You have 3 days to change your minds. 3 days. To save your people. After that, they all die." The blue light went out. The alien's face disappeared. The room was quiet again. All the alien leaders started talking at once. They were scared and confused. They had never seen anyone refuse to negotiate with terrorists. "Admiral Morrison," Clayton said quickly, "surely you cannot mean to fight such a large fleet. Even if you could win, the cost would be enormous." Jake looked at the alien leader. "There are some things more important than cost. Our people's lives are one of them. Our honor is another." "But the odds are impossible," said the crystal alien. "They outnumber you 20 to 1. "Good," Lisa said. "Then it will be a fair fight." Jake started walking toward the door. "We need to prepare. Time is running out." "Wait," Clayton called out. "What should we tell the other species?" "What should we tell the galaxy?" Jake stopped and turned around. "Tell them that humans keep their promises. We promise to protect our people. We promise to fight terrorism. We promise to never give up. Today, we keep all those promises." Lisa followed Jake toward the door. "And tell them one more thing. Tell them that the galaxy was warned. We told everyone that we don't negotiate with terrorists. Now they'll see what that really means." As the two humans left the room, the alien leaders sat in shocked silence. They had just witnessed something new in galactic history. They had seen a species that would rather fight impossible odds than give in to terrorists. In the hallway outside, Jake and Lisa walked quickly toward their ship. They had a lot of work to do, and not much time to do it. "Are you sure about this, Admiral?" Lisa asked. "The aliens are right. The odds are terrible." Jake stopped walking and looked at her. "Captain, let me ask you something. If those were your children on that ship, would the odds matter?" Lisa thought about the 300 prisoners, doctors, teachers, families, people just trying to go home. "No, sir, it wouldn't matter at all." "Then let's go bring our people home," Jake said. The war room on the USS Liberty was full of busy people. Captain Lisa Warren stood in the middle, looking at a big blue map that showed the Sigma 7 area. The map was made of light and showed thousands of rocks floating in space. "Give me the details," Lisa said to her team. Chris Taylor was her weapons officer. He pointed to different parts of the map. "The pirates have been hiding in this rock field for over 30 years. They carved out secret bases inside the big rocks. They built fake gravity and put sensors everywhere." Maria Santos was the ship's engineer. She looked worried. "Captain, the radiation in that area is very dangerous. Our shields will break down in just a few hours. Most aliens won't even go near that place." Lisa studied the glowing map. The rock field was huge. It stretched across 3 light years of space. The rocks were big and small, spinning and crashing into each other. Lightning jumped between them. "What about their defenses?" Lisa asked. Ryan Clark was in charge of gathering information about enemies. "They have about 800 ships, but only 200 are ready to fight right now. The rest are broken or being fixed." Dr. Helen Foster, the science officer, shook her head. "That's still terrible odds, Captain. Maybe we should think about other options." "Doctor," Lisa said firmly, "I want you to study the radiation in that field. Find weak spots. Find places where we can hide. Find anything that helps us." The team spread out to do their jobs. Lisa opened a private channel to talk to Admiral Jake Morrison on the USS Freedom. Jake's old, tired face appeared on her screen. "What's the situation, Captain?" "Sir, We're looking at a fortress built inside a radiation storm. Even if we had 100 ships, this would be hard. Jake nodded slowly. Captain, do you know why humans have never lost a war against aliens? Better. Weapons? Lisa guessed. No, it's because we understand something other species don't. Sometimes the only way to stop evil is to be scarier than the evil itself. Lisa listened carefully. The Crimson Void has spent 30 years scaring merchant ships and killing innocent people. They do this because they know other species will. Always try to make deals instead of fighting. What are your orders, sir? Get ready for Operation Thunderstrike. We're going to teach every pirate and terrorist in the galaxy a lesson. If you touch our people, we will destroy you completely. Far away, deep in the Sigma 7 rock field, Vexthul walked back and forth on his ship's bridge. His ship was called the Widow's Kiss. It was big and black and covered with weapons. Krex, his second in command, was a lizard-like alien with green scales. He looked nervous. Commander, our scouts say human ships are gathering at the edge of the field. Only 12 ships, but they're not leaving. Vexthul's 4 yellow eyes glowed with excitement. Perfect. They're even more stupid than I thought. How many of our ships are ready to fight? 732, sir. The humans can't possibly win. Get every ship ready for battle, Vexthul ordered. We're going to destroy these humans and show the whole galaxy what happens when you fight the Crimson Void. On the captured human ship New Horizon, Dr. Nancy Green was taking care of hurt people. She was a doctor, but she used to be a soldier. The ship was full of 300 prisoners, families, workers, and scientists who just wanted to go home. Captain Frank Miller was badly hurt. The pirates had beaten him when they took over his ship. He was lying in the medical room, weak and tired. Dr. Green, whispered Pete Williams, one of the engineers. Do you think they'll really come for us? Nancy's voice was calm and strong. Pete, have you ever been in the military? No, ma'am. Why? Because if you had been, you'd know that. Humans never leave their own people behind. Never. They're coming for us. Just then, the ship's speakers crackled to life. Vexthul's horrible voice echoed through the corridors. Human prisoners, your pathetic little fleet has arrived. Soon you will watch as we destroy them one by one. Then you will learn that nobody can resist the Crimson Void. But Nancy just smiled. She knew something the pirates didn't. She had fought in 2 wars before becoming a doctor on merchant ships. She knew that humans were most dangerous when they were protecting their friends. Back on the Liberty, Lisa was meeting with her senior officers. The ship was moving toward the dangerous rock field. Through the windows, they could see the first. Rock's getting bigger. Status report, Lisa commanded. Radiation levels are rising fast, Maria said. Our shields are holding, but they won't last long in there. How long do we have? Maybe 6 hours before the ship starts falling apart. Lisa made a hard decision. Override all safety systems. Push the reactor beyond normal limits. Authorization Warren, 77 Alpha. The ship's lights got dimmer as more power went to the shields. Lisa opened a channel to all 12 human ships. All ships, this is Lisa Warren. We are now committed to this mission. Remember, we're not here to fight a normal battle. We're here to send a message to the entire galaxy. On the USS Freedom, Admiral Jake Morrison was looking at a tactical display that showed where all the human ships were. They were spread out in a line, moving into the rock field like sharks swimming into bloody water. Commander Hayes, what's the status of our special weapons? Bill Hayes, the intelligence officer, checked his secure computer. All packages are ready, sir. The pirates won't know what hit them. Good. Remember, everyone, we're not just rescuing our people. We're setting an example. Every terrorist in the galaxy is watching to see what humans do when threatened. Deep in the pirate base, Vexthul was getting more excited as he watched the human ships approach. "Look at them," he said to Krex. "They're splitting up. They're making themselves easy targets. Sir, should we launch our fighters?" "Not yet. Let them come deeper into the field. The radiation will weaken their shields. Then we'll crush them all at once." But Vexthul was making a big mistake. He thought humans fought like other aliens. He thought they would try to save their ships and minimize their losses. He didn't understand that when humans went to war, they went with everything they had. On the Liberty, Lisa was watching the radiation levels climb higher and higher. The ship was shaking as it pushed through the energy storms between the rocks. "Captain," Chris Taylor called out, "I'm detecting massive power readings from the pirate base. They've turned the whole rock field into a weapon." "Perfect," Lisa said with a cold smile. "Ryan, begin deployment of the special packages." Ryan Clark worked quickly at his station. "Packages away, Captain. Stealth delivery systems are active." The pirates didn't know that the 12 human ships weren't carrying normal weapons. They carried something much more dangerous, a new type of weapon that human scientists had created just for situations like this. Back on the New Horizon, Nancy Green felt the ship suddenly jerk as the pirate base's defenses came online. Warning. Lights flashed red throughout the corridors. "They're getting ready to fight," she whispered to the other prisoners. "Our people are here." Captain Miller was feeling a little better. "Doctor, how can you be so sure we'll win?" "There are so many pirates." Nancy helped him sit up. "Captain, let me explain something about human military thinking. Other species fight wars to achieve goals. Humans fight wars to completely destroy our enemies. There's a big difference." As if to prove her point, the first explosion shook the rock field. Then another. And another. On the pirate flagship, Vexthul watched in horror as his outer defenses began exploding. "What's happening? Where are these explosions coming from?" Krex checked his instruments frantically. "Sir, I'm reading huge energy bursts throughout the field, but I can't find the source. It's like the rocks themselves are blowing up. Impossible. Our sensors would have detected any missiles." But Vexthul was wrong. The humans hadn't fired regular weapons. They had used something completely new. Tiny robots that could dig through solid rock, find weak spots, and cause chain reactions that would tear apart entire asteroid fields from the inside. On the Liberty, Lisa watched her tactical display as the pirate base began to fall apart. "All ships begin Phase 2. Start searching for our people." The battle for Sigma 7 was about to begin, but it wouldn't be a normal battle. It would be the complete destruction of the biggest pirate organization in galactic history. The USS Liberty shook violently as it went deeper into the Sigma 7 rock field. The ship's shields glowed white-hot from the dangerous radiation. Captain Lisa Warren stood on the bridge with her hands behind her back, watching the chaos of spinning rocks and lightning storms on the main screen. "Shields down to 70%, Chris Taylor reported. "We're losing sensor power fast." "Switch to short-range sensors," Lisa ordered. "Maria, how long can our shields hold?" Chief Engineer Maria Santos checked her readings. "Maybe 6 hours before the ship starts breaking apart." "But Captain, if we push the reactor past safety limits, ... Do it. Override all safety systems." Authorization. Warren 77 Alpha. The ship's lights dimmed as power was moved to the shields and engines. Lisa opened a channel to all 12 human ships. "All ships, this is Liberty. We are now committed to this operation. Remember, we're not here to fight a normal battle. We're here to send a message." On the USS Freedom, Admiral Jake Morrison studied the tactical display showing where all the human ships were as they went deeper into the rock field. The ships spread out like fingers reaching into the dangerous area. Commander Hayes, what's the status of our special cargo? Bill Hayes checked his secure computer. All packages are armed and ready, sir. The pirates won't know what hit them. Good. Remember, people, we're not just rescuing our crew. We're making a statement. Every terrorist organization in the galaxy is watching to see how humans respond to threats. Deep in the rock field, Vexthal watched the human ships approach. With growing excitement, his 4 eyes glowed as he studied the tactical display. They're splitting up, he told Krex. Foolish humans. They're making themselves easier targets. Krex, his lizard-like second-in-command, looked at his own screens. Sir, should we launch our fighters? Not yet. Let them come deeper. The radiation will weaken their shields. Then we'll destroy them all at once. But Vexthal was making a terrible mistake. He was thinking like other aliens. He thought humans would try to save their ships and fight carefully. He didn't understand that when humans went to war, they went with complete commitment. Captain Lisa's voice came through the fleet. Channel again. All ships, target designation Alpha 7. We have visual confirmation of enemy facilities built inside the rock cluster. Chris Taylor worked at his station. Confirmed, Captain. Massive energy readings from multiple locations. It looks like they've turned the entire rock field into a weapons platform. Perfect, Lisa said with cold satisfaction. Ryan, begin deployment of the special packages. Ryan Clark, the intelligence officer, worked rapidly. Packages away, Captain. Stealth delivery systems are active. The pirates didn't know that the 12 human ships weren't carrying normal assault weapons. Instead, they carried something far more dangerous. A new class of weapon the human scientists had developed specifically for situations like this. The weapons were tiny robots, so small they couldn't be detected by normal sensors. These robots could burrow through solid rock, find structural weaknesses, and create chain reactions that would tear apart entire asteroid clusters from within. On the captured New Horizon, Nancy Green felt the ship suddenly lurch as defensive systems came online throughout the pirate base. Emergency lights flashed red and alarms started blaring. They're mobilizing, she whispered to the other prisoners. Our people are here. Captain Frank Miller was now conscious, but still weak from his injuries. Doctor, how can you be so sure? They'll succeed? The odds are impossible. Nancy helped him sit up in his medical bed. Captain, let me tell you something about human military doctrine. Other species fight wars to achieve political goals. Humans fight wars to utterly destroy our enemies. There's a big difference. As if to prove her point, the first explosion rocked the rock field. The ship shook and the lights flickered. Then another explosion. And another. On the bridge of the pirate flagship Widow's Kiss, Vexthal watched in horror as his outer defensive positions began exploding one by one. Each explosion was bigger than the last. What's happening? He screamed at Krex. Where are these explosions coming from? Krex frantically checked his sensors. Sir, I'm detecting massive energy signatures throughout the field, but I can't pinpoint their source. It's like the asteroids themselves are exploding. Impossible. Our sensors would have detected any missiles or torpedoes. But Vexthal was wrong. The humans hadn't fired conventional weapons. The tiny robots were already deep inside the rock. Formations, working their way through the pirate base like a virus through a body. The robots found the weak spots in the rocks that the pirates had carved out for their bases. They found the support beams, the power conduits, the structural supports. And then they began their work. Captain Lisa watched the tactical display with grim satisfaction as the pirate base began to collapse. Whole sections of the rock field were breaking apart, taking pirate ships and facilities with them. All vessels. Phase 2 is now active. Begin search and rescue operations for our people. The Liberty moved through the chaos like a shark through bloody water. The ship's advanced systems could handle the radiation and debris that was crippling the pirate vessels. Contact! Chris Taylor shouted. Multiple pirate ships incoming. Looks like they're launching everything they have. Lisa remained calm. How many? At least 200 fighters and 50 larger ships, all heading our way. Then we'll give them a proper welcome. All weapons. Target the bigger ships. Let the fighters come. The Liberty's weapon systems came online with deadly precision. Unlike the scattered, poorly maintained guns of the pirates, human military technology was designed for one thing: killing enemies efficiently. Each shot found its mark. Each target was destroyed with clinical precision. The human ships moved through the pirate fleet like wolves through a flock of sheep. On the USS Freedom, Admiral Morrison watched the battle with professional interest. Commander Hayes, how are our robots performing? Better than expected, sir. They're not just destroying the pirate bases. They're creating a chain reaction throughout the entire field. The pirates' own modifications are making the collapse faster. Excellent. And our people? Signal detected, sir. The New Horizon is located in Sector 7 Alpha. Captain Warren's team is moving to intercept. Morrison nodded. Signal all vessels. Rescue operation is now priority 1. Once our people are safe, we implement the final phase. The battle was turning into a massacre. The pirate ships were designed for raiding merchant vessels, not fighting military warships. Their weapons were weak, their armor was thin, and their crews were untrained. The human ships, on the other hand, were built for war. Every system was designed to kill. Every weapon was precise. Every crew member was a professional soldier. Vex Thill watched his fleet being destroyed ship by ship. This is impossible, he roared. We outnumber them 50-1. Sir, Krex said quietly, maybe we should consider surrender. Never. Vexthill's 4 eyes blazed with fury. Signal all ships. Ramming speed. If we can't defeat them with weapons, we'll crash into them. But even this desperate tactic failed. The human ships were too fast, too maneuverable. They dodged the ramming attempts and destroyed the pirate ships with contemptuous ease. On the New Horizon, Nancy Green watched through a porthole as explosions lit up the sky around them. The pirate base was falling apart, but she could see human ships moving through the chaos with purpose. They're coming, she told the other prisoners. I can see them out there. They're fighting their way to us. Pete Williams looked scared, but there are so many pirates. How can they win? Nancy smiled grimly. Because they're not trying to win a battle, Pete. They're trying to rescue us. And humans will go through hell itself to save their own people. The Liberty was now close enough to see the New Horizon directly. The captured ship was surrounded by pirate vessels, but they were all focused on the collapsing base around them. Target the ships around our people, Lisa ordered. Clear us a path. Liberty's weapons spoke again. One by one, the pirate ships around the New Horizon exploded. The human ship moved closer, its guns never stopping. Boarding parties, prepare for immediate extraction, Lisa commanded. We're going in. The final phase of the rescue was about to begin. But first, the humans had to deal with one more surprise. Vexthil, in his desperation, was about to make a decision that would seal his fate forever. The Sigma 7 rock field had become a nightmare of explosions and collapsing asteroids. Vexthil's carefully built fortress was falling apart around him as the human robots continued their deadly work, turning the pirates' own defenses against them. Sir, we're losing structural integrity on levels 7 through 15, Krex reported. His voice was full of panic. The humans, they're not just attacking us. They're destroying our entire base. Vexthil's 4 eyes blazed with fury. Launch all fighters. Every ship we have. destroy those human vessels. But as the pirate fleet began to move, they discovered another unpleasant surprise. The radiation that had protected them for decades was now working against them. The human ships, with their advanced shields and modified engines, moved through the field like fish through water. The pirate vessels struggled with system failures and navigation problems. Captain Lisa Warren stood calmly on the bridge of the USS Liberty as enemy fighters swarmed toward her position. The main screen showed dozens of small pirate ships approaching, like angry wasps. "Maria, give me everything the reactor can handle," Lisa ordered. "Chris, target their command ships. Ignore the fighters." "Captain, we're outnumbered 50-1 by those fighters alone," Chris Taylor warned. "Then we'll have to be 50 times better than they are," Lisa replied coldly. "All weapons, free fire." The Liberty's advanced weapon systems came online with deadly precision. Each shot found its mark. Each target was eliminated with clinical efficiency. The human military technology was designed for one purpose: to kill enemies quickly and effectively. The pirate fighters were like toys compared to the Liberty's weapons. They exploded one after another, filling space with debris and fire. On the USS Freedom, Admiral Jake Morrison watched the tactical display with professional interest. The battle was going exactly as planned. "Commander Hayes, how are our robots performing?" "Beyond expectations, sir. They're not just destroying the pirate bases. They're creating a chain reaction throughout the entire field. The pirates' own structural modifications are making the collapse faster." "Excellent. And our people?" "Signal detected, sir. The new Horizon is located in Sector 7 Alpha. Captain Warren's team is moving to intercept." Morrison nodded grimly. "Signal all vessels. Rescue operation is now priority 1. Once our people are safe, we implement the final phase." On the captured New Horizon, Nancy Green felt the ship shake as explosions rocked the surrounding asteroids. Emergency lighting flickered on and off as the pirate base's power grid began to fail. "Doctor, what's happening?" asked Pete Williams. His voice was tight with fear. "Our people are winning," Nancy replied with complete confidence. "The pirates made a fundamental error. They thought humans would fight like everyone else in the galaxy." Captain Frank Miller was now able to stand. "With help." He looked confused. "What do you mean?" "Most species try to minimize casualties and preserve resources. They fight limited wars with limited goals. But humans don't fight limited wars. When you threaten our people, we don't just defeat you, we erase you from existence." As if to prove her point, the ship's communication system crackled with an incoming transmission. But this time, it wasn't Vexthu's voice. It was Captain Lisa's. "New Horizon, this is Captain Warren aboard the USS Liberty. We are moving to your position. Prepare for emergency evacuation." The 300 prisoners erupted in cheers. But Nancy remained focused on her work. "Pete, help me get the wounded ready for transport. Frank, can you walk?" "I'll crawl if I have to," Miller replied with determination. Meanwhile, in the depths of the collapsing pirate base, Vexthul made a desperate decision. If he couldn't defeat the humans in battle, he would make them pay a price they couldn't. "Ignore, Krex, arm the thermal charges around the prisoner ship," he ordered. "If we're going to die, we'll take their people with us." But Krex hesitated. "Sir, that would be a violation of the Galactic Accords on treatment of prisoners. Every species in the galaxy would condemn us. Every species in the galaxy is already cowering in fear of these humans." Vexthul snarled. "Arm the charges, now." Krex reluctantly began entering the activation codes. But what the pirates didn't know was that their conversation was being monitored by human intelligence systems. The humans had been listening to every word. Commander Hayes immediately alerted Admiral Morrison. "Sir, the pirates are preparing to execute our people rather than let us rescue them." Morrison's weathered face went stone cold. All vessels, implement Protocol 0. No prisoners, no survivors, no mercy. The final phase of Operation Thunderstrike was about to begin, and it would be something the galaxy had never seen before. Humans, fighting with the full fury of a species that would rather die than abandon their own. The Liberty cut through the chaos of the collapsing debris field like a knife through butter. Captain Lisa stood at the center of the bridge, her voice calm and deadly as she coordinated the rescue operation. Boarding parties, prepare for immediate extraction. We have confirmation that the pirates are preparing to execute our people rather than lose them. Chris Taylor looked up from his station. Captain, the New Horizon is surrounded by thermal charges. If they detonate, everyone on board will be vaporized. They won't get the chance, Lisa interrupted. Maria, I need you to disable their detonation system. Can you do it? Chief Engineer Maria Santos worked frantically at her console. I can, but I'll need to get within 50 meters of their ship. At that range, their weapons will tear us apart. Let me worry about their weapons, Lisa said coldly. All hands prepare for combat boarding action. As the Liberty approached the New Horizon, the remaining pirate vessels converged on their position. But they weren't facing the same humans who had entered the debris field hours earlier. These were humans who had just discovered that their enemies were prepared to murder, prisoners rather than face defeat. All restraints were off now. All vessels weapons free. Admiral Morrison's voice echoed through the fleet channel. Show them what happens when you threaten human lives. The next 10 minutes redefined what the galaxy understood about human warfare. The Liberty's boarding. Parties didn't just rescue the prisoners. They systematically eliminated every pirate on the New Horizon with brutal efficiency. The other human vessels didn't just engage the enemy fleet. They hunted down every single pirate ship and destroyed it completely. There would be no survivors. No one left to tell the story of what had happened here. Nancy Green was treating wounded crew members when the airlock suddenly hissed open. Human Marines poured through, led by a young woman named Kelly Brooks. All civilians to the transport. Ships now, Kelly shouted. Wounded first, then everyone else. Sergeant, Nancy called out, there are thermal charges throughout the ship. The pirates were going to execute us all. Not anymore, ma'am, Kelly replied grimly. We've secured the ship. The pirates responsible for this are no longer a problem. As the last of the prisoners were evacuated, Captain Lisa's voice came through the ship's communication system. All vessels, final phase is now active. Commander Hayes, deploy the message buoys. Throughout the debris field, small automated devices began broadcasting a message on all galactic frequencies. It was a simple message, spoken in Admiral Morrison's gravelly voice. To all who would threaten human lives, the species of Earth do not negotiate with terrorists. We do not pay ransoms. We do not make compromises. We eliminate threats to our people with absolute force. The Crimson Void no longer exists. Let this serve as a warning to any who would follow their path. Vexthor, trapped in the command center of his dying flagship, watched his life's work crumble around him. His fleet was gone. His bases were destroyed. His people were dead dot in his final moments. He finally understood what made humans different from every other species in the galaxy. They didn't fight for territory or resources or political advantage. They fought for each other, and they would burn the galaxy to ashes before they would abandon their own. The widow's kiss exploded in a brilliant flash of light, taking with it the last remnant of the most feared pirate organization in galactic history. 3 days after the battle at Sigma 7, Admiral Jake Morrison stood before the Galactic Council once again. The chamber was eerily quiet as representatives from 47 different species absorbed the reality of what had just happened. The silence was heavy and uncomfortable. Everyone knew that something had changed in the galaxy. The balance of power had shifted in ways they were still trying to understand. Jake wore his dress uniform, the dark blue fabric crisp and clean. His gray hair was neatly combed, but his eyes still held the cold fire of recent battle. Behind him stood Captain Lisa Warren, equally composed but equally dangerous. "The situation has been resolved," Jake reported in his matter-of-fact voice. "All human personnel have been recovered safely. The Crimson Void has been eliminated as a threat to galactic commerce." Ambassador Cleaton, the tall blue-skinned Zorathy, spoke first. His voice was hushed with disbelief. "Admiral, our long-range sensors detected massive explosions throughout the Sigma-7 system. The entire debris field has been cleared." "Collateral damage," Jake replied without emotion. "The pirates chose to use that location as a base of operations. We simply removed the threat. But the scale of destruction, the crystalline vegan," Delegate said, her voice like wind chimes. "How did you accomplish this with only 12 ships?" Jake's weathered face showed the faintest hint of a smile. "We used appropriate force for the situation." The truth was more complex than Jake was willing to explain. The human fleet had deployed weapons that most species couldn't even imagine. The nanobots that had destroyed the pirate base were just the beginning. The humans had also used gravity, bombs, quantum torpedoes, and fusion mines. But the real weapon had been something else entirely. The absolute determination of a species that refused to abandon its own people. "Admiral," said a small, mouse-like alien from the Kepler systems, "what message are you sending to the galaxy?" Jake paused at the chamber door and turned back to face the assembled representatives. "The message is simple. Earth protects its own. Always. We don't negotiate with terrorists because we don't need to. We eliminate them instead." "But surely," Cleaton said desperately, "there must be some room for diplomacy? Some possibility of peaceful resolution?" Lisa Warren stepped forward. "Ambassador, let me explain something about human nature. When someone threatens our families, our friends, our people, diplomacy ends. We become something else entirely." "What do you become?" asked the crystalline delegate. "We become the thing that monsters fear in the dark," Lisa said quietly. As the human delegation prepared to leave, the chamber erupted in whispered conversations. The alien representatives were struggling to understand what they had just witnessed. Crimson Void had been the most powerful pirate organization in the galaxy. They had terrorized space lanes for decades. Even combined alien fleets had been afraid to challenge them directly, and 12 human ships had erased them from existence. In less than 3 days, Admiral Morrison called out a representative from the insectoid hive worlds. "What happens now? What happens to other criminal organizations that might threaten human interests?" Jake stopped walking and looked back one final time. "They have a choice. Leave humans alone or join the Crimson Void in oblivion." As the humans left the chamber, Ambassador Cleaton sank into his chair. "What have we unleashed?" he whispered. To himself, the crystalline delegate heard him. "Something that was always there," she replied. "We just never bothered to look." Word of the Sigma-7 incident spread throughout the galaxy with unprecedented speed. The story was told and retold, growing with each telling. Within hours, every news network in known space was broadcasting the same incredible facts. A human merchant vessel had been captured by pirates. The humans had been given an ultimatum: withdraw from the Outer Rim or watch 300 prisoners die. The humans had refused to negotiate. 12 human warships had assaulted a fortress defended by 800 pirate vessels. The humans had won. Not just one. They had completely annihilated their enemies. The entire Crimson Void organization had been wiped out. Every ship destroyed. Every base eliminated. Every pirate killed. In the aftermath, Something remarkable happened throughout the galaxy. Pirate attacks on human vessels dropped to zero overnight. Criminal organizations that had operated for centuries suddenly found themselves looking over their shoulders. The Stellar Reapers, a notorious gang that controlled 3-star systems, immediately released all human prisoners and withdrew from human space. The Shadow Cartel, which had been planning raids on human colonies, canceled all operations and went into hiding. The Iron Claw Syndicate sent a formal message to Earth Command, promising never to interfere with human interests. Fear spread through the criminal underworld like a plague. The humans had demonstrated something that no other species had ever shown: the willingness to use unlimited force to protect their own. On Earth, the reaction was different. The news of the rescue was celebrated, but quietly. Humans understood that sometimes violence was necessary to protect the innocent. They didn't celebrate the deaths of their enemies. They simply accepted that some people chose to be enemies, and enemies had to be dealt with. President Karen Adams addressed the planet from the White House. "Today, we kept a promise," she said. "Simply, we promised that Earth would protect its citizens wherever they might be. We promised that we would never abandon our own people. We kept that promise." In bars and restaurants across human space, veterans of the rescue operation were quietly honored. But they didn't boast about their victory. They didn't celebrate the destruction they had caused. They had simply done their job. Captain Lisa Warren was promoted to Admiral and given command of the new Frontier Defense Fleet. Her first order was to establish patrol routes throughout human space, ensuring that no criminal organization would ever again threaten human lives. Admiral Jake Morrison retired to a small farm on Mars, where he grew vegetables and read books about ancient Earth history. When reporters asked him about the Sigma-7 incident, he always gave the same answer: "We did what needed to be done." Dr. Nancy Green returned to her job as a merchant marine medic, but she also began teaching courses at the Naval Academy. Her lectures on survival psychology and hostile environments became legendary among young officers. The 300 rescued prisoners returned to their normal lives, but they carried with them a story that would be told for generations. They had seen what humans were capable of when their people were threatened. 6 months after Sigma-7, the galaxy was a different place. Trade routes that had been dangerous for decades became safe overnight. Merchant ships traveled without fear. Families could move between colonies without worrying about pirates. The criminal organizations that survived the purge learned a simple lesson: humans were not to be threatened, ever. A year later, Ambassador Clayton met with Admiral Morrison at a diplomatic reception on the neutral world of Harmony Station. The old human was wearing civilian clothes, but he still carried himself like a soldier. "Admiral," Clayton said carefully, "I wanted to thank you. Since Sigma-7, piracy in this sector has decreased by 90%. Trade is flourishing. People feel safe." Jake nodded. "That was the point. But I must ask, was it necessary to be so thorough?" Jake looked at the alien ambassador with those cold gray eyes. "Clayton, let me ask you something. If someone threatened to murder your children unless you gave up your home, what would you do?" "I would try to negotiate. Find a compromise. Perhaps offer partial concessions. And that's why your people had been victims of pirates for decades." Jake said quietly, "You taught them that threatening you would get them something. We taught them that threatening us would get them killed." Clayton was quiet for a long moment. "You truly are a terrifying species." "Only to our enemies," Jake replied. "To our friends, we're the most loyal allies you could ask for." As the reception continued around them, Clayton realized something important. The humans weren't monsters. They weren't evil. They were simply willing to do whatever it took to protect their own people. And that willingness, that absolute, uncompromising determination, made them the most dangerous species in the galaxy. The galaxy had been warned. Humans refused to negotiate. With terrorists now, everyone knew exactly what that meant. And the galaxy was a safer place because of it.